So this is for non-maximum suppression. Okay? And the first thing I want to do is import torch. So if you don't have, before you do anything, if you don't have torch module, please install torch module using pip. You can use pip.install torch. All right, very easy. I like to use torch because I want to convert my bounding box list and my scores list to torch tensors. You can use NumPy or you use the Python's native list. It's really, really up to you. So the reason I like to use torch tensors is because I can easily use torch argmax to get the index of the highest confidence score from the confidence scores list. Then I can use that to get the bounding box that has the highest confidence score. Because remember when on the whiteboard I said for non-maximum suppression, we need to get the highest confidence score for a bounding box and use that bounding box to compare with every other bounding box in the list to check for the intersection over union and then eliminate duplicate bounding boxes, right? So the first thing I do is import torch, and I also want, I'm typing, I want to import list, all right? So let's define the function NMS. And this function is going to take the bounding boxes of type lists type int. All right. Make sure. Okay. And then we'll have the scores. It's going to be just a list of floats. And then we have our threshold, which is of type floats. And we can give a default value of 0.5. And this function will return a new bounding box with unique bounding boxes. Okay. And then the first thing I like to do is convert my baby boxes and my scores to torch tensors. Okay. So we'll use the same variable. Okay. Or to torch dot tensor baby box. And I'll do the same thing for scores. Okay. Watch the tensor and scores. All right. So the next thing I want to do is create a mask, because for torch tensors, if you want to remove an item from the list, you need to mask it. So it doesn't work like the native Python list where you can do the list.pop. So popping means removing, the index of, an item from the list. But we can't do pop with a torch tensor. So we use a mask. So I need to declare a mask, and we'll do torch dot ones, value ones, and then it will be of length of the baby boxes, and the D type will be torch dot bool. Okay. Then we need an empty list to save our unique bounding boxes. So I would say this is our final baby boxes list. Initialize this as empty. Okay. Then we need a while loop to loop through the bounding box. So we want to loop through the bounding boxes while we still have an item in it. So we'll do length of the baby boxes. Baby boxes, okay. As long as length is greater than 0, we want to loop through. So now the first thing we need to do is get the maximum confidence score from the scores list. Okay, so we'll do max index, right? Remember, I told you I wanted to use torch because I wanted to use this function called argmax. Okay, so this will give me, so this function returns the index of the highest value in the list, right? That's why I wanted to use torch. So I'll get the max index, right? And then I need another for loop. Let's say I box in enumerate, okay, BB boxes, all right? Okay, so we want to do a check right now. So the check is we want to compare the bounding box with the maximum confidence score and every other bounding box. We want to check their intersection over union. We want to see if they overlap and then remove using the threshold. But before I do that, I want to check that if the bounding box for the maximum is equal to this one, big box. For some reason, we get to this one, we don't want to process it, okay? Because this is what we're using to do the comparison with other bounding boxes. So we just want to continue, all right? So now we can do the intersection over union. So we'll do IOU value equals to, we already have the function here, so we can just call it here IOU, right? I want to do BB boxes, max index, okay, max index. And we want to compare it with other bounding boxes, okay? So index I for the other ones. And once we get the IOU, we want to check if this IOU value is greater than our threshold, okay? So if it's greater than our threshold, we want to remove it. So for example, let's say IOU value is 0.95, and our threshold here is 0.5, right? If it's greater, it means that there's a very high overlap between these two bounding boxes and that there's a possibility that these two bounding boxes are referring to the same object. So we want to get rid of this bounding box, right? So what we do is, okay, what we do is we'll do mask. Remember, I told you mask is how we remove stuff from a tensors list, okay? So we'll do mask I and set it equal to false, all right? That's it. And now, after everything, we want to add this bounding box to our final list so that we don't, we'll add it to our final list and then remove it from this list so we don't process it again, all right? So we'll do that outside of the for loop, all right? So we'll do this dot append, want to append this. All right, want to append this. And because we're returning this type, we want to change it back to a list, okay? To list, all right? So we don't want to return a touch tensor. We want to return a regular list, all right? So that's why I'm converting it back to a list. And now we've added it. We want to remove it from, this list and then the scores. We want to remove the scores for this bounding box and remove the bounding box from both lists. So we've already maxed this bounding box, so that is fine. So we want to do the same thing for max index, okay? We want to do the same thing for max index, false, all right? Okay. So we keep doing this, and then now we want to remove them from both the bounding boxes and the scores. So what we do is scores equals to scores mask. So this way effectively remove those items we've already processed from this respective list. So we'll do the same.